So how the fuck did you make this?
That is still one of my favorite stories of all time. So what happened was that basically 2 days before the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, all right, we get a funny email from one of our investors. They're like, hey, there's a trainer that, is working with the Jake Paul fight and he's interested basically in a sponsorship. And I thought, we're never ever going to spend a couple $1 million on some random boxing fight. But there was a weird thing that happened where because of like the time pressure of the event, it was in 2 days. And because of the nature of the deal, we could basically bring down the price dramatically. And the deal was very simple. It was we're going to give him a hat to wear with a Nucleus logo. And of course, never in my wildest dreams did I think that if I gave a hat. So what happened was that we had a couple of VIP tickets. We were on the boxing floor. And I remember that we had to smuggle like a bunch of like Nucleus gear and a bunch of Nucleus DNA kits, right? And so we go there and I remember telling the security guard, I was like, oh, we're like a sponsor. And they're like, oh, you're a nonprofit, right? I was like, yeah, we're a nonprofit. Well, I don't know. We walked right on in with the bags. The security was not good. And we're on the floor walking around. And I remember I walked right to where the Jake Paul team was. And, of course, I pretended to say hi to some of the team. I didn't really know them. I was like, oh, hey. They're like, oh, hey. Something about when you're in the ringside, they just assume that you're supposed to be there. It's a really funny phenomenon. Anyways, and so then, the Jake Paul team starts coming out, and I see one of the trainers actually in the hat with the Nucleus logo, and it says, Make America Healthy Again. And of course, we knew, Make America Healthy Again was going to be a provocative kind of message. You almost want to put a flea, which is Nucleus, on the backs of an invasive species, right? The invasive species is Make America Healthy Again, and then the flea was Nucleus. Because I knew if you put a Nucleus logo, no one's going to remember that. No one has affiliation with the brand. And so what happened is he's wearing this Make America Healthy Again hat, and I'll never forget this. Basically, there was a cut between, in between the different rounds, and the trainer comes in, and basically Netflix, which was a sponsor of it, I don't know, I feel like it was almost staged. The trainer, Jay Leon, he leaned down and the camera was just live streaming Make America Healthy Again Nucleus. And I remember this, I was sitting, on the side and I looked up at the big screen and I saw Nucleus, the logo in the big screen in this arena. And I'm thinking to myself, it was almost like this in reality moment. Right? Because I literally, sometimes have you ever seen Stranger Things where like the character like kind of gets lost and goes to the other world, right? Like I felt like I went to the other world. I saw myself, 5 years ago in my bedroom, dropped out of college thinking, is this thing ever going to work? And I could see the level of intensity and focus and how much the creation from my mind, right? Because before an idea comes to life, before it enters the physical plane, it exists in the intellectual plane. And so to see kind of Nucleus kind of as a theory from 5 years ago, suddenly at the largest event of the year on the big screen there, that was one of the greatest, I think, just intoxicating moments because you realize intuitively, you realize experientially that you can basically bend reality to your will. And that's very powerful.